Hello, welcome back to We Still Believe. We are here just with me today. There's no Jake, sadly. He had an emergency. But I'm here to talk all about England, New Zealand, which happened over the weekend. Saturday, this was one of the two friendlies that we have right before the World Cup starts. We cannot wait for that. We are mere days away from kicking off in Mexico. And of course, this game was a 1-0 win to England over New Zealand. We're going to get into it and talk about some of those things. But before we do that, if you haven't done so, go ahead and go check out the World Cup predictions that we have on the channel. We have the whole video that me and Jake did last week, which is predicting everything from the group stages to general predictions, and then finally the knockout stages as well. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, I've broken it up into some shorter videos. If you just want to see certain parts of that, go ahead and do that. That would be awesome. As always, drop a like on the video. Let us know your comments. What do you think is going on with England so far? What do you like? What do you not like? I'd love to hear from you guys. This game, of course, was England versus New Zealand as they continued their Tampa tour, well, their Florida tour. They're training down in Miami. This game was up in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium, a stadium that I have been to several times, once to see the Bucks, another time just for like a venue to go see a concert there. It's a giant stadium, as you can see. I'm sure if you guys watched the game, and it has a massive pirate ship in the corner, which is pretty cool. There was about 25,000 England fans that came out. A lot of English people living in Central Florida, so I think this is a big opportunity to them to come out and support the boys. So that was great to see. There was a lot of talk about the grass. I mean, you could kind of see in the stadium it was looking a little thin. I think they said I can't remember who it was. I think it was a Bad Bunny concert or somebody that'd been in there like 2 weeks before, so they really just kind of freshly laid this new grass. And we had some comments from England players talking about that, and I think you can see in the video that it was, a little thin, let's say, underfoot. There were also some interesting things going around social media about the price of beer in the stadium, and I'm not shocked, of course just having come back from Orlando, Florida, we can tell you that prices of alcohol and things in stadiums in America, yes, it is a ripoff. It's a crazy amount of money. People, posting, oh, it's $18 for a pint. Yeah, I mean, that's what you're looking at to pay if you're going over for the World Cup. Most of these stadiums, you're gonna pay $15 for a beer, and upwards. So, make sure you've got your wallets ready for that. And it was just a very interesting mix of sort of American, football stadium vibes versus having all the England fans in there. I know I saw one video where the England fans were refusing to do the Mexican wave, as we call it, or just the wave, as the Americans call it, which is always funny. I think there's like a clash of cultures there between what's going on with the English fans who just want to watch the game, and I think some of the American or South American fans that, always they love when the game isn't that exciting, they try to do the wave. It's just what happens. So that was interesting to see. We're gonna get into it and talk about the lineup straight away. This was an interesting one. Of course, Thomas Tuchel going with two different lineups completely in this game. The first of all, they started off with Jordan Pickford at the back. Then you had Jarrell Kwanzaa playing right back. You had John Stones in there, as we know, is a big fan. Tuchel's a big fan of him. We also had Mark Gahey, and then you had Jed Spence playing left back. In the center defensive mid positions, we have Kobe Mainu and we had Jordan Henderson, both of them in the defensive mid, which is kind of a nice mix. I think this is a real mix of not all the starters, but maybe some of the starters, as we'll see. Then you had Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins and Marcus Rashford. The three of them kind of changing around. I don't think Footmob has it quite right here. I saw more like often Rashford on the right during that second half. I think Morgan Rogers mainly operating in the middle, but sometimes I see Ollie Watkins there. And then, of course, we had Harry Kane up top, who scored the only goal. Let's talk about some of the stats It was, all England most of the time. We're gonna get into the highlights in a minute, which there are not a lot of highlights, but, it was a lot of England building through the flanks. I think a lot of, the wing back, especially Jed Spence getting pretty high. We had a lot of shots, so we had 23 shots, only 4 on target, so that's really not good enough. I mean, let's be honest, but, big chances, we created 3 according to FootMob. We kept New Zealand very quiet. They didn't really have many opportunities. In the first half, there was a couple breakaways and such, but, a very sort of, a nice, easy training game for us is what I would say. We didn't really, I think, go into this one thinking, oh, we're going to treat this like a full competitive game. I think with them just getting to Florida recently and dealing with all the heat there, I think Thomas Tuchel just kind of wanted to use this as a sort of warm up game against New Zealand, where of course, like, he changed the entire 11, at halftime, so I think there wasn't really much onus on the idea of them, playing as if this was a full match. But England in control nonetheless. Let's get into some of these highlights, of which there were not a lot. But you can see Harry Kane and Chris Wood having a conversation, the two big, number nines. Chris Wood, probably the most famous player for the New Zealand team, outside of Mr. Payne, the left back or whatever he is now, that just blew up in fame after, social media finally found out who he was. Their goalkeeper had some good saves throughout the game. There was this chance from Harry Kane from long range in the first half that was pretty testing, but there wasn't a huge amount that he had to do when he was called upon. I think he made some good saves. You got one of the New Zealand breakaways here, and Jordan Pickford. You can see the ball kind of bobbling up a lot. I think that's generally from the, like I said before, the poor playing service. This is a good example of what a lot of the first half was. You had Jed Spence getting a lot of space on that left hand side. Again, he's not a full left back, so he kind of has to cut back on his right a lot. We didn't really see him get to the byline and put a good ball in with his left foot ever. But I think it was interesting because a lot of people think Jed Spence isn't necessarily attacking fullback, and I don't think that's true. I think he definitely can be. He's got the pace. And in this game, he had lots and lots of space on that side. Marcus Rashford here having some nice moves, trying to find Kane in the box, and Kane gets denied. That was a good save by their keeper, but one of like many, the only few times that Harry Kane got in the box. As we know, he loves to drop deep, and that was the goal just there. So Jed Spence again on that left hand side, then he cuts back in on his right foot, crosses the ball in, and it's a really really nice finish from Harry Kane. He did a great job. Of course, being the big man up front, but there was opportunities we could have scored a lot in this first half. There was a great chance for Ollie Watkins where he got through on goal and he just completely missed the net. There was several other, half chances for us. For the second half, we had a complete change in all of the subs. Full 11 shifted in and out. Again, I think that was just because Thomas Tuchel didn't want to, play a full game and didn't want to have anybody get injured. I think that was probably the most important thing for this game, was just getting through it with warming up people's legs into competitive international football, but not, getting any injuries and not playing anybody for 90 minutes for sure. So he really wanted to give a lot of opportunities out. And because of that, he went full rotation at halftime. So we had James Trafford coming in for Jordan Pickford. You had Dan Burn coming in as one of the center backs. You had Edric Konsa coming in. You have Nico O'Reilly, and he was playing in midfield like we've seen him do at times for Man City. You had Reece James coming in at right back. You had Tino Livramento coming in as the other left back instead of Jed Spence. You had Elliot Anderson coming in as one of the defensive midfielders. You had Jude Bellingham coming in, and I saw quite a few Real Madrid kits in the stadium. I think a lot of the people there wanted to come see their man at Real Madrid. You had Anthony Gordon, the new Barcelona signing. He came on the left wing. You had Ivan Toney come up top instead. And of course, Rio Nugama, who had a really, really good game, but technically is not in the English squad. He was just traveling with the squad. And we'll see some of the highlights in a second because he was kind of the bright spark of the second half. and had some really, really good opportunities. So straight off the bat, after we came back from that late stoppage time goal in the first half, there was this big chance for Dan Burn where really he should have scored. I mean, he's such a big guy, and you could tell how close he was. It came off, the wrong side of the post, but on another day, hopefully that goes in. I think set pieces are a big part of how we can score goals with the great set piece delivery takers we have that, in the Premier League, so many good dudes that can put a good ball in. We really need to be able to capitalize a little bit more on our corners and our free kicks, etc. Nico O'Reilly getting up here in the field. This is a chance for Jude Bellingham that, nowhere near there. I think there was a lot of that in this game where just lack of quality at times when the chances did open up. We had quite a few long range shots in the first half from the likes of like Kobe Mainu or Jordan Henderson, and they didn't really hit the back of the net. And then, you see Jude Bellingham doing this as well. Like I said, Ollie Watkins missed one. Overall, Ivan Toney there, the quality of shooting just wasn't really very good. I think we could have had more from this game if we had done more. The second half, really not a lot happening at all. There was a penalty shout, which was immediately called, offside from Ivan Toney as well. But it probably wasn't a penalty because he just kind of went down. Not a lot of highlights in here of Rio, but he did actually have a really good game out on the right wing and had some really nice moves, went past a few guys, and looked like a very bright spark. I think he was really trying to impress on his debut. So, of course, this England team was without any of the Arsenal players, them just being in the Champions League final. They just got off of that, so they needed a minute to rest. So we didn't have the likes of, Saka, we didn't have Rice, we didn't have Madueke. And so, really, I think you saw some of these other guys putting in different positions, etc., that maybe we're probably not going to see. So I don't think we should take too much stock out of this game and what happened. I think, good performers. I called out Jed Spence. I think he had a really good game where he was being very effective. Maybe he just had a lot of space on that side. I thought Jordan Henderson actually did reasonably well. I know we're not really super encouraged by having him in the starting 11, but he did have a good game and he was able to produce some good moments from the defensive midfield. The likes of Elliot Anderson coming in the second half, I think he was a real game changer in the way that we ran the midfield. I feel like he was directing traffic really well. I think Gordon had some good moments. Rashford had some good moments. Overall, I think, like we said, it was just a good game to get out there, get some legs under us, and see how the England team is starting to shake out. But the real bright moment was Harry Kane's goal coming off of that Jet Spence in swinger. And I feel like just because the New Zealand defense was retreating further and further back and just kind of defending so deep that it was always going to be a situation where England had to break them down. I don't think there was going to be a lot of opportunities for us, being able to go through the middle. Like I said, there was a lot of wing play, a lot of sort of overlapping fullbacks, linking up with wingers, trying to, find ways through the team. And I think that's probably good practice because, when we get into the likes of, I imagine Panama, they're going to be teams that sit back defensively. And I think England need to get better at breaking down those low blocks and guys that just sit back with, almost 10 men behind the ball and just say, come get in between us. So what did we learn from this game? I don't think a huge amount. I think it was just, like I said, more of a warm-up game, a training game. I think when we get into the next game, hopefully we're going to see the starting 11. And then when we go from there, we'll maybe have a better idea of where, we're looking a bit brighter. Like I said, we're going to add in all the Arsenal players. So that's very, very exciting. And the next game, of course, is going to be on Wednesday night. This will be our last game of preseason before we get into the actual World Cup. So, Wednesday night against Costa Rica, and it's going to be played in Inter&Co Stadium. For those of you who are not Orlando City fans, I found a little bit of information that I think you're going to love. This is a video that was done a while back, all about the Orlando City Stadium right when it opened. So I'm gonna head on over and let you listen to club legend of Orlando City, Miguel Gallardo, talking about the location of England's next friendly in Orlando.
Welcome to sunny Orlando, Florida. Known for much more than amusement parks, it's the home of a club fit for soccer royalty and World Cup champions alike.
This 25,000-seat privately financed soccer-specific stadium with a 360-degree lower bowl sits in the heart of downtown Orlando, and downtown Orlando is built into it. A stadium that is built for the supporters with a 10,000-square-foot supporters terrace and the Wall, Orlando's very own supporters section. From pregame to the final whistle, Exploria Stadium is a sight to see, offering spectacular views from all seats in the stadium and even street level. With an all-natural grass surface area and a canopy that's designed to enhance the crowd noise and protect the fans from the elements, this is a stadium that offers an atmosphere to drive the club to victory. My name is Miguel Gallardo, and now it's time to show you Florida's soccer crown jewel, Exploria Stadium.
So that is the Orlando City Stadium. It's, as you can see, 25,000 seat capacity. And is a full grass pitch, is where, of course, Orlando City from MLS play all of their games, as well as the Orlando Pride. Much different kind of location from Raymond James. Really, designed almost a lot like English stadiums. I'm sure some of the English fans will recognize some of the shape of it and the way it's designed. A lot of English stadium kind of influences were put into the design and creation of the Orlando City Stadium. Of course, we've got the wall here on the end, which is pretty much mimics the Dortmund wall, or many supporters now sections that are around the world, and especially here in the U.S. More and more MLS stadiums have been built like this, where you have a freestanding section on the end of the stadium where everybody can just enjoy. So I imagine the England ultras, all the ones, the guys that follow the three lions all around are going to be every game at the World Cup. They're probably going to be stacked out in this section, and I'm causing a little bit more atmosphere maybe than being spread around like they were at Raymond James, even though there was the same amount of people I think will probably be at this game as there were at that one. It's going to feel a lot more intimate just the way that the stadium is. It's designed to hold the sound in. It's designed to be a real soccer stadium, or real football stadium, as we say. And of course, it's got a real pitch that has been there for years and is tested and has been played on, and has beautiful grass. So hopefully, this is going to be a better environment for the England team to play in. And it's very exciting for me and lots of other people that are Orlando City fans that, a team as big as England is going to be playing on this field. We've had a lot of friendlies in the past, but I don't think we've ever had such a massive, global powerhouse of a team as the England football national team to come and play on the stadium. Of course, you can see it's located right in the heart of Orlando itself. So anybody who's going, you'll be able to enjoy, downtown Orlando. And I'm sure lots of people will be going to the parks and everything else that Orlando is famous for. So, what to expect against Costa Rica? I think it's going to be a similar situation to what we had against New Zealand in terms of what the opposition is going to do. They're probably going to be pretty defensive, not wanting to, come out too much and try and keep the scoreline fairly low. They are not going to the World Cup. They are a team that is, very reasonable in the CONCACAF area, but not anything special. They've got some players around the world that you might know, but not very many big names. Especially not in like European. A lot more of their team plays in Central America, South America, MLS, that kind of thing. So, a fairly easy opponent for England, it should be said. One that we definitely have the ability to score lots of goals against. But that would have been the case for New Zealand as well. I think, like I said, in that game, because we were going for the first kind of warm-up game. I don't think Tuchel was, really interested in the scoreline too much, just wanted to make sure that we had a good run out. With this being the last true competitive game before the World Cup starts, and England having quite a while before their actual first game, because being in Group L means we're not playing for a long time, even though the World Cup starts. We've got, I think, over a week before we then go ahead and play Croatia. And I think because of that, we're gonna have I would expect a more starting lineup, probably guys playing for like 60 minutes at least instead of just a half. I would like to see that. And I think we're more likely to see a more competitive game, a game where we really try and push Costa Rica more and get some more goals. I'd like to see, a starting lineup that's got all the stars in there, maybe an example, a mix of what we had before. For me, that would be the likes of, Jordan Pickford. Then you probably hopefully see Reece James at right back. Maybe you're going to see Konsa and Gahey both in center back. So maybe Konsa and John Stones. Left back is an interesting one. I'm not sure what we're going to see there. It could be Jed Spence again. It could be Livermento. Maybe he puts Nico O'Reilly, who is really one of the only true left backs in the left back position. That would be nice. And then in defensive mid, I think you're probably going to see, I would imagine, Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson, if we're being, hopeful of a first team starters. And then in the number 10, it could be Jude Bellingham. It could be Morgan Rogers. I think right wing, hopefully you're going to see Saka having just joined up with the squad. Left wing, I think you're probably going to see, either Rashford or Gordon, and then Harry Kane up top. I think most England fans would like to see something like that for 60 minutes at least, and see us really go at Costa Rica and score multiple goals in the first half. See what a full England team like this with a somewhat of a starting lineup is going to look like, running at a team, at a bit more pace and aggression, now that they're settling into life in Florida and the heat. Hopefully that's what we're going to see. Of course, we might not. He might rotate again. We might have a first half of one starting 11 and a whole second half of another starting 11. I don't want to see that. I think we want to see something a little bit more competitive. But this will be, of course, the last time that we get to see England before they play their first game on June 17th. So they'll be playing on the 10th. It's, like I said, a whole week again before they play. So plenty of time to rest, and hopefully we don't have any injuries on, the Inter&Co field. I think it's a very good playing service. So I think some of the concerns they had with Raymond James Stadium should be gone, and just, the ability to play a full game of football on a real pitch. Hopefully we see some quality football, some, a little bit more better creative tacking talent there to mix together, maybe some guys that play together a bit more instead of sort of a combination of, A and B 11s, kind of like we saw against New Zealand. So very exciting stuff. Lots going on. I'm very excited. The World Cup is right around the corner, and I appreciate all you guys for watching. We will be back very, very soon. So if you've not done so, make sure you're following me on social media. It's John Rollins TV. You can follow me on any of the apps on X and Instagram, Facebook, etc. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel here. Jake will be back very soon, and we'll be reviewing that game against Costa Rica, and then we'll be getting ready for the World Cup, which starts just in a few days. I can't wait to see you over there. It's going to be amazing. Have a good one. Thank you.